Here, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the full job changes for patch 6.1. They leave these out of the preliminaries because I guess they feel the extra 3 days of panic isn't worth putting them in. And as such, this is our first look. There's been a lot of concern about what's going to happen with 6.1 job changes. The live letter had like a few things that kind of made sense, a few things that were just kind of like, huh? And a few things that were just not there. So they told us it wasn't all the changes though. They told us there were jobs they didn't mention, there were changes they didn't mention. So we just have to go into this and pray that the fires are not all that bad over on the Reddits and the Twitters and all that stuff. So let's get into it. Healer role actions. First and foremost, lucid dreaming is level 14. Okay. I mean, I'm not going to say no to that, but whoa! Okay, I didn't think Paladin was going to be on the list of here's a ton of changes. All right, Iron Will, that's their tank stance. It's only a 3-second recast now, so that's probably consistent across all the tanks because they wouldn't just change Paladin. I mean, that makes sense. It doesn't make sense for the stance to have a 10-second delay. Oh my... I have been asking for this for so long because ultimately with Paladin, if you have to stop to Clemency, you've already screwed yourself because you're a GCD behind. It doesn't also need to interrupt your combo. The Holy Spirit now means that instead of throwing a shield lob, as long as you have the spare MP, you'd probably Holy Spirit at range. So both of those big ups from me. Request Cat, the additional effect grants Blade of Faith ready when the effect of Request Cat ends. Man, that's just a mouthful. Has been added. So grants Blade of Faith ready. So that means it's not a combo anymore, which, oh, that means you don't have to use them back to back to back. This is more like some of the other changes that they made in Endwalker. So you could hold those 3 GCDs for a time is what that means. Or you could hold the first one. I guess I need to read down and see what they did to the second and the third one. Okay, that's a good amount of flexibility, a counter to my point about Clemency. That allows you to move things around for like burst windows and stuff, if it does what I'm interpreting that it does. Holy Circle execution no longer interrupts action combos. Okay. Confrontation. Wait, they're adding even more HP restore? Come on. I mean, I love that they did it, what they did in the update, but even more HP? Dude, it's like, oh, and I can see it's here too for all of the blade combos. They just have like 4 more GCDs of healing. Dude, Paladin, that feels real good to go through that entire Request Cat window and just have all of this healing. It's a really good feel. So, and honestly, one other thing kind of underrated. If you're main tanking as a Paladin when you're doing this, it's a little bit less time, but it's about once an auto that you're getting a GCD. Like I said, it's a little bit, you're actually getting it a little more frequently than once an auto that you would take from a boss. So it really helps deal with auto attack damage for this entire duration. Also, yeah, no longer a combo action with wait, if it's no longer a combo action, that means it's its own button? So is Paladin getting an extra button? I mean, that's what I'd have to imagine it means unless they threw it on something else. The requirement of Blade of Faith ready has been added. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't really see a reason for that, unless it's just saying it's not. Maybe it's, you know what? Maybe it still shares the button, but now it just, when you have Blade of Faith ready, it'll transform and you don't have to do it immediately. That would be the better solution. So I'm hoping that's what it actually is. And yeah, now adds a healing effect to Confiteor, so I'm assuming that's just that. Yeah, I didn't expect Paladin changes, but this is a big flexibility change for Paladin. This helps a lot with adjusting burst windows, which is a major problem with 14's design right now. So, big fan. Big fan of those changes for Paladin. Paladin's actually my favorite tank. I don't play it as much as I'd like to, but Paladin's my favorite tank, so I'm glad to see that. Defiance, yeah, all the tank ones down from 10 to 3 seconds. You know, people were wondering when it would finally happen, when overpower would go to also being a circle. I wonder if that means instead of the like conal like splash of steel, I suppose, it's just gonna like shake the ground around them. It would make sense. Same animation, wouldn't really have to change much of anything at all. But I hope that they have also, because it doesn't mention like an animation update of any kind, and normally they do. So hopefully that is the case. Inner release now only applies to Fellcleave and Decimate. This was a big quality of life thing people were asking for since the start of Endwalker. So that way, if you needed to hold a Fellcleave for any particular reason, you could. You don't have to use them back to back to back. And it only makes sense because, you know, Dark Knight, for example, doesn't have to worry about this. It will only use when they actually use the correct weapon skill. So the fact that Inner Release now does the same thing just brings it in line with what the other effects do similarly. And it still has the Inner Strength buff, Nullifying Stun, Sleep, Bind Heavy, the most knockback and drawn effects. So yeah, it still has that effect to some capacity. All right, let's see. All right, Grit, whatever. Flood of Darkness. Listen, that's okay. Like, I'm sure people will be like, oh no, my 30 potency, but it's these other three that I'm looking at right here. Blood Weapon. There you go. See, okay, Yoshi P, I need to give you some advice. When you have a change like this, put it in the live letter. I have had to spend the last 10 days discussing and reading and just dealing with the general discourse of this not being mentioned. This should have been in the live letter. Don't leave these kind of things for patch notes. It's not worth it. Stalwart Souls. Oh my god, thank god. The second part of their AoE combo is level 40. I'd have to assume though that they wouldn't get Gage still until like 72, but that's either way. I mean, that's just, it'll feel so much better to play. And then Living Dead. Oh boy. There's been a lot of concerns over the changes they mentioned. So, additional effect restores HP with each weapon skill successfully delivered or spell cast. So it does work on AoE. So if you were to pop it like during a dungeon or during AoE in general, it would still work the healing aspect. It's been added with a cure potency of 1500. If an amount of HP totaling your max HP is restored before Walking Dead's timer runs out, the effect will now change into Undead Rebirth with the duration carried over. Okay, so they did address the one major concern that people had with giving Living Dead its own personal healing, in that you would dispel it too early and lose the effect. Now, what's actually kind of happened is the other way around. You technically keep Living Dead's invulnerability aspect for the entire 10 seconds. So it's actually a buff overall, because realistically, you never got all 10 seconds out of Walking Dead. Now with Undead Rebirth, you know, yeah, ideally you don't want to proc Undead Rebirth and then go back down to 1 HP. You know, sure. But the fact that you don't just die because Walking Dead was cleansed too early, I mean, that fixes problems across the board. That fixes problems with players who Benny too early. That fixes issues with the potential issue that could have been risen from them restoring their own health. So that actually makes Living Dead fantastic, and it makes it usable in pretty much all scenarios safely and succinctly. So Dark Knight, I mean, there are still other things people would like to see changed about Dark Knight, but I think these have been long-standing issues that have been ignored generally. And it took a few years, but it looks like Blood Weapon and Living Dead are in a good spot for now. So, excited. Quite excited to see that used in practice. Gunbreaker just got this change. Yeah, Gunbreaker really doesn't need... Gunbreaker needs, like, button bloat adjustments, but I didn't think they were going to get anything in this patch. Monk. Perfect Balance can no longer be executed while under the effect of any Beast Chakra. So I guess that just prevents fat fingering. Okay, that's fine. I mean, it doesn't hurt. I'm sure everyone's done that at some point on Monk. All right, all the jumps with Dragoon. Oh, can I keep my mouse in one place, please? Animation shortened. I can see all 5 of them. Well, all 5. I just... Really? The one that needed it most is not here. Really? No Star Diver? Okay. All right. I see you. I see you, team. Jump and High Jump, which High Jump just replaces Jump anyway. Turning into Mirage Dive. Nice little quality of life for button bloat there. So I'm a fan. And then the animation has been shortened. Elusive Jump will send you back faster. That means as well. Spine Shatter, Dragonfire. Yeah. So this is all just nice stuff. Nothing too major. No like actual, you know, numerical buffs or nerfs or anything, but just cleaner play. And no one's ever going to complain about that. Rogue and Ninja. Here's another one that people were waiting for. Hide now dispels the effect of... Oh, so there's no more pre-pulled Dotons. Yeah, that's fine. I always hated the pre-pulled Doton thing. Such a minuscule gain for just... I don't know. Like, I guess it keeps you busy in your pre-pull open... I don't know. All this makes me think of is, like, now when I get groups that don't care about my pre-pull timer, I don't have to care either. That's all that really comes to mind when I think of that one, or at least the Doton part of the pre-pull, I should say. Mug is 20 seconds. Once every 2 minutes, 20 seconds. Yeah, that makes sense because it's once every 2 minutes instead of once every minute. Increases target's damage taken by 5%. Curious to see how that'll actually change the rotation. Trick attack, however, for the ninja themselves, I can already see it only affects their own damage. They told us this from the live letter, but it's also 10% now. So once a minute, that personal 10% buff is there. Ninjas probably feel a little bit better about their own damage from that. And they only have to wonder when people are going to ask for Mug. And they shouldn't have to ask for Mug because it's a freaking 2-minute cooldown. And you should know when your 2 minutes are. It also means that setting, like, it's impossible to screw up Mug. Mug comes off cooldown, you use it. Trick attack, ideally you don't screw it up, you know, now. But it's possible to screw up. So, eliminate some of the potential discourse from hearing your ninja in the middle of the raid night go, oh, for fuck's sake. And everybody's like, can't help but notice Trick's not up. You want to tell me about that? Okay. Anyway. Aeolian Edge, potency buff. Okay. Shikuchi, shortened animation. That's nice. Doton, potency. Okay, so I really like this change. Because Doton now lasts less than the time it takes to get your ninjutsu back. I don't know. I've always wanted this. I've always wanted Doton to go down to 18 seconds with an increased potency. If you go back years, you'll probably hear me talking about it when I mained Ninja. And so it's not really a major change. I just like it. I just like that change overall. Hakemu Jinsatsu, an extra 10 potency. Armor Crush, an extra 20 potency. Bava, an extra... Oh, Bava is actually reduced by 50. So I guess they're shifting the power from Bava into these skills. The single targets and the AoEs. Okay, that's fine. Phantom goes up to 600. We did ask for this a long time ago to bring Phantom up to 600 with the way the skill actually works. So that's overdue, but there. And Melee Mastery now acquired at 74. I don't remember what their Melee Mastery did. I mean, I know it's like a bunch of... I was just going to say a bunch of potency increases. And I looked at all these. Yeah, there was like a bunch of potency increases on that. So I guess they just get it earlier. Okay. I'd have to look to see if there was anything of note that's actually there. But just now in T, they're stronger, I guess, than they were before. Okay. Samurai. All right. Well, I mean, with Kaiten gone, I expected potency buffs on a lot of things. So Hakaze, Jinpu, Third Eye had its duration. I mean, that's nice. An extra second on Third Eye proccing is never bad. Shifu, Gecko, Higenbana, Mengetsu, Kasha. Yeah. This is no longer a Conal either. That's going to look weird. But, okay, I'm down. Oka, Yuki. Yeah, I mean, everything with it gone. Oh, except for Madare. These we expected would have their potencies brought down because they don't auto-crit anymore. Either brought down or just they would be leveled out. Because now they're going to scale with the crit hit rate stat a lot more frequently, I suppose. Range weapon skills no longer count for mech kill where people accidentally tapping those. That's pretty funny. Shinten is level 52 now. Okay. Potency was reduced. Okay. Yeah, I see the problem with this. I don't play Samurai, so I'm not really going to sit here and math out all of what this means. Yaten, activation time has been adjusted for other backsteps. Okay. Keishi Higenbana, yeah, because well, yeah, I guess because they're removing the Kaiten effect. This is, yeah, but this feels weird. Like, I get it. Like, let's also be real. Almost nobody in any encounter is using Keishi Higenbana. It just doesn't happen. Same here. Same here. Now guarantee. Yeah, see, these are the only ones that I think anyone really cares about because they're just bringing these down to the same value as... So the idea was before these were the same values as if you had Kaiten the weapon skill. Because there's no Kaiten, bringing these down makes the most sense. You know, making sure these are all 800. These are all the same value. But I'm not going to sit here and do the math of like what the Samurai Bis crit rate, crit damage bonus is. And I'm not going to do it. All I'm going to say is I don't think Kaiten was where they needed trimming, but I'll wait till I get some in-game opinions. I'm actually playing this and not just reading the patch note opinions. Reaper, these are all, okay, animation shortened. It looks like they're doing that for like all the gap creators, gap closer style things. And then you just have an extra 5 seconds to use enhanced harp. Okay, that's fine. Repelling shot, I guess, yeah, also falls in the line of those other changes they're making. This is really nice. Battle voice. So if you screw up and you just want to pop battle voice on cooldown, there you go. This helps a little bit with if you were to make a mistake, but still realistically doesn't change much of anything because you know, after some practice, you hopefully aren't making a mistake. It's especially useful if you like die really early in a song, like you won't have a song activation, or your song activations all get thrown off because of it. That's where this really comes in handy, because you can still hit it on the 2-minute mark, even if, you know, there's like a window where you have to make that adjustment. Now, Wanderer's Minuet now changes to pitch perfect. Good for button blow, but my muscle memory is going to be suffering. So, nice, but I'll have to get used to it. Machinist! I immediately looked. I skimmed through it all in a second. I was like, okay, no hypercharge changes to make it a stack. Machinist, I think you're the last one. You're the last survivor of the I'm not going to give you charges for your short duration buff that can be very ping unfriendly. It'll be your time at some point. It'll be your time. I believe. Heat Blast, an extra 10. So an extra 10 potency on every Heat Blast is pretty nice. You do Heat Blast pretty frequently throughout the fight. So that'll actually add up pretty significantly across an entire encounter. Wildfire also, an extra 50 potency per weapon skill. So that's nice for the number, but my problem with Wildfire is not that it doesn't do enough damage. It's that you don't feel good when you're using it. And I really would prefer if they just made Wildfire have giant text with 2 exclamation marks. Like, just, I understand the potency will always be the same if I play properly, but just make it look like a direct crit, you know, so it pops more. So it's got that feel to it, that dopamine hit. So, I would prefer to see that kind of change for Machinist. And then it looks like just potency across the board here. Drill, air ankle, yeah, air ankle, air anchor, pile bunker, crown collider, and chainsaw. Yeah, just 10 potencies to all the 20, 40, and 60 seconds, and then pile and collider got 30 potency each. I mean, this will help, but people who weren't playing Machinist before aren't going to start playing Machinist because of these changes. They just won't. People who are already playing Machinist get a nice little potency buff. Curious to see where that actually makes them land in terms of their personal DPS. I'm not sure if it'll be enough, but not sure is not, it won't be. So, good luck. Dancer. Okay, they're doing this whole categorized as a weapon skill thing again. I wonder if this is... So the first time that they made a change that was something like this, it was so that you could give Reapers... Like, Reapers could still proc one of their stacks from you during Arcane Circle, because there was an issue with that. I wonder if this is just so that no matter where you are in your standard step, like every single part of your step counts as a weapon skill for the sake of that. It also means, I think Monk. Oh my god, yeah, that would mean you, because if they're all weapons, if every step is a weapon skill, then you could proc Meditative Brotherhood off of these. Oh, I like that. Okay, I like that. I'm down. That works for me. That's a nice little quality of life. It doesn't really change much for the Dancer, but it fixes how Dancer interacts with a few other jobs. And that's always nice. Whoa, there's a lot of text here. I didn't expect all this. The additional effect, 50% chance of granting Flourishing Symmetry. Symmetry has been changed to 50% chance of granting Silken. Okay, Silken Symmetry, Flow Symmetry. Flow can only be executed while under the effect of... Oh, I think I get it from this. Let me, hold on. I gotta scroll down to read the rest. Okay, Flourish isn't on here. So this tells me that what the buff Flourish gives you and the buff that the weapon skills give you is different. So, okay, yeah, that means that you could just press Flourish now whenever you want. Well, I mean, whenever you're supposed to, because you have 2 different procs that do the same thing with different names so they don't overlap. That's a really nice quality of life for Dancer. Because most Dancers, realistically, they try to make sure they don't have any buffs now so that they don't overlap, but it doesn't always work out that way. And now it won't matter because it just won't matter because it doesn't affect. So, nice little quality of life for them. And then Technical Step also categorized as a weapon skill here at the bottom. Yeah. Oh, and they even note at the bottom can still receive the effects from Flourish. Okay, yeah, they made sure to throw that in there. So that is indeed the intent. I'm not misinterpreting that. Now, how does that actually affect Dancer as a job? So Dancer's actually become really popular in speed kills, but in Prog, it's still likely to be one of the less popular choices. So I think we'll probably see more changes, probably just potency adjustments in 6.2. But other than that, probably not anything else for the rest of the expansion on Dancer. So in terms of gameplay, they've largely remedied a lot of the Shadowbringers problems. Some people, you know, myself included, maybe not the biggest fan of things like the new improv, but it's not like the old improv was this, you know, head over heels great ability either. So improv itself, you know, it's better. I think it is realistically a better skill now, but I'm not as excited about it. But Dancer should be a lot happier with some of these changes. Summoner. Oh boy, Ruby. So it's just changing all the Ruby stuff at all the levels. Yeah, because there's Ruin 2, Ruin 3, Ruin Outburst, so that's like low level, that's when you get Ifrit Eggy, and then Ruby Right. So all of them are having their recast times increased. Recast, specifically. And then their potencies are being bumped up by a significant portion, in this case by 60. So it's not their cast time, but it is their recast time. I wonder... I need to get into game and see that, because like in my brain, that tells me that they're trying to give you half a second to do something. I guess for, oh, no, I get it. So a lot of casts in the game now, you can, there's like a, if you look at the healers in particular, there's like a 0.5 second time after a spell cast in order to move. So that way you can either, you know, weave something or move or something along those capacities. And it also means that you won't be using Swift Cast on these, because Swift Cast is going to incur, no matter what, you're going to incur the 3-second recast time on this. So those seem to be the two reasons they're doing it. It gives you about a half second to slide cast or move after the cast, so it increases the mobility, but it also makes it so you're not going to be just randomly using Swift Cast on like a Ruby Right or something throughout that. Okay, all right. So I'm not really sure how that's going to pan out, like overall. Like if the 60 potency increase, like I don't have the numbers offhand, but still. Searing Light action is now executed directly from the caster. How long is it before the shield is the same? Let's be real. Like Carbuncle is just going to be sitting there just like, why am I here? Why am I here? Ruby Disaster, Ruby Catastrophe, those are the max level ones. And then Ruin Mastery. The increase of potency for Ruby Right has been changed from 450 to 510. Okay. I mean, that's just in line with this. So, okay. That's fine. Displacement, its animation shortened. They told us they were doing that. White Mage! I can't wait for the salt. Let's see. MP cost reduction. Stone, arrow. Effect duration increased to 30 seconds on arrow. Oh, those are the low level ones. We don't care. Stone 2, cure. Okay, so regen, MP cost reduction, cure 3, Yalm increase. We knew that. Duration. So now it's just 30 seconds at all levels. Okay, that is nice actually. Asylum is 10 Yalms now. Secret of the Lily. Time before a Lily. Oh man, every 20. Oh man, people were asking for this and I didn't think they would do it. Because it just doesn't make sense to be 30. I mean, you look at Sage and you look at some of the other job gauges in the game and you're like, why is it 30? It should really be 20. Okay, all right, I see you, Square. I see you. Stone 3, Stone 4, we don't care. Okay, Stone 4, potency has been reduced. Well, yeah, I mean, that's Stone 4. So that's like a nerf to like, what, T? I guess. Okay, I guess that's whatever. Afflatus, oh, they do read the feedback. They do read the feedback. Oh man. Okay. Well, Misery's on the table again. That's White Mage just got a massive buff. So for anyone who doesn't play White Mage, the reason why this is a big deal is not just because, oh my god, Misery hits so hard now. Lilies and your glares are both on the GCD. So when you choose to do one or the other, you're losing something. Right now when you use lilies, you're losing a glare cast. Unless you really needed it for the healing, you're losing a glare cast. So what that means is, in the time it takes to use 3 lilies and use the GCD for Misery, you're not gaining anything from the 900 potency Misery. You're actually losing 340 potency. Now with the change, lilies are damage neutral, meaning that when you use a lily, it is the same effective DPS, well, the same effective potency, I should say, that a glare would provide. You're just kind of pushing it back till later. This means that it's probably going to be a lot more common for Miseries to deliberately be set up for burst windows, because it is guaranteed going to be potency neutral. So I'm sure if you were to break down the math of like actually casting the glare versus misery being injected into burst windows, there would be somewhat more of a discussion, but I think at this point it would fall in misery's favor regardless. So yes, the damage fall off is worse, but for the most applicable situations, this is a massive improvement. And liturgy, they already told us what they were going to do. You can now trigger it manually to trigger the bonus explosion of healing. That is also a great quality of life. White mage, honestly, probably in love with these changes. I don't see how a white mage could realistically be upset. I mean, all the max level tools, the glare and dia, seem like they're largely the same. They've just reduced the base MP cost of a lot of the stuff for the lower levels. So there's always that regen having its cash. Like it's a lot of quality of life to the lower levels, and the quality of life to max level is still pretty significant, because this is also going to help with MP. This is going to help a little bit as well, just because of the healing being timeable, so you know you don't have to worry too much about any bonus GCD or OGCD uses there. So yeah, this and then this obviously is, you know, this is massive right here. This and this combined, oh my god. White mage, I see you. No problem. No problem. Scholar, MP cost reduction. Embrace has a bigger range. That's nice. These are lower level MP cost reductions. Sacred Soil to 10 yalms, and Expedience's speed effect, not the damage reduction, down to 10 seconds. They told us pretty much the majority of this in the live letter. Astro, low level combust, being brought up to 30 seconds. Okay, yeah, Astro needs more than that, but it needs button bloat fix. So I guess, again, I didn't expect really to see that for Astro in this patch. And then Sage, MP cost reduction. Oh, Soteria is now... Oh, okay, so... Wait a minute. So Sage has been around for 4 months. They got a skill that, for those who don't know, Soteria is... It makes it so whoever you're partnered with on Sage, that your damaging spells heal them for 50% more. And it lasts, you know, what, like 10 seconds, I think, or something like that. And then, you know, you do 50% more healing for them every time you hit a DPS spell. Okay, cool. So you're telling me that Sage, who's been around for 4 months, got stacks on Soteria, but Machinist, nah, can't have that for Hypercharge. No, just, it's illegal. Illegal, I guess. Knock on your door, FBI's here. No stacks for you. Adder Sting now gains maximum stacks of Adder Sting upon ent... Oh, wow. That's very nice. You just have 3? Okay. That's just... Like, bro, Sage was already good. Like, what is that? For, like, now you just have the 3... Damn. Damn. All right, I see you. I see you. That's big. That's big. Oh, here's what the Melee Mastery did, by the way. Increases the potency, yeah. And then Way of the Samurai, these are also potency increases, too. Oh, hey. In case you didn't notice, Samurais, you got your own section, extra section here in the patch notes. Let's isolate that, frame it, put it up, and it is dead. Miscellaneous adjustments to action, trait, and stats effects descriptions have been made, but no changes have been made to their effects. And then... I don't really know what else is different in the patch notes. I did just really want to look at the job changes, because I think this is where the majority of Salt was. Overall, a lot of really good changes here. A few missed opportunities with things like Machinist, and obviously Samurai is going to be a big discussion. Ninja's up for debate. I think people want to get their hands on it. But other than that, I mean, there's some surprising changes in here. Things I didn't think were going to happen. Things that I'd seen requested, but just didn't think were going to happen. And then Dark Knight, Living Dead. I didn't see that coming. I thought for certain they were just going to give you the healing and then just walk away from you. But no, and the blood weapon charges especially. I mean, this, again, this is so massive. Especially even just getting the extra 5 seconds on top of it. I mean, because here's the thing. If they didn't do this, this would be pointless. Because you need the extra 5 seconds. Like, it just wouldn't make a difference. Okay, so yeah, those are all the PvE related changes. But before I got started with recording this, people did say I should look at all the PvP changes, but I'm actually going to do that in a separate YouTube video, part of the same live stream, but part of a separate YouTube video. So that's going to be it for what we're looking at here. Job changes overall, pretty neat, but we need to see some of them in practice. With that, I'm going to wrap up this YouTube recording and I guess get to the second one in the next few minutes. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share. Twitch stream, of course, we'll be going the rest of the day, but on YouTube, I'll see you in the next one. And the next one will be PvP. So thanks. See you then. Bye-bye.